But we welcome you to the show, and like many of the shows before, I've done a giant monologue of some sort and had a pre-recorded opening and a big thing for you. And guess what? I don't have that for you today. But I do have an opening thing to talk about what's coming up today in this show. And so I want to thank everybody for joining in today. Good evening to everyone. As I say, good morning to everyone, and good afternoon, depending on where in the world you're coming to us from. This is the DYOR Media Network you're watching, and I'm your host, Striking. To my left is Wes, otherwise known as Tree City Wes, and all the social media things you see out there from us. It's February 22nd here in Ottawa, Ontario. Yes, today's date is 2/22/22 or 22/2/22, depending on how you write your dates. And it's National or Worldwide Palindrome Day, in which today's date is the same forwards and backwards, kind of if you don't put the 2 zeros in it, 2 and the 0 for the year.
Tuesday.
And it's Tuesday. And as an added bonus, every day this week is a palindrome. And these are odd things to happen. Doesn't happen that often. So you think it'd be good for the market as a superstitious thing? Not so much. But what else is backwards besides the dates? That's right. This week, as I like to say, what a week it's been. This week has been backwards. Bitcoin has been backwards. Everything has been messed up. Here where I am, the protests are over in Ottawa, and some interesting crypto news came out of this protest and enforcement process here in Canada. Where I am in Ottawa, Canada, right now is generally not the center of news of the world, and for sure not the center of crypto news, but it has been over the past week. And Wes and I will get to that later with some news about it, some myth busting, but some things you should be worried about in the future about that. Let's see. The market, as I say, shaking my head, SMH. We all thought the end of November was terrible. Then we believed it would recover in December with people getting some Christmas money, and of course, it didn't. Then January, what happened, Wes? It faked us out. Went back up to 40-some thousand, and then said, nope, that's enough of that, and it dumped all over us in February. It can't get any worse, can it? Can it get any worse?
It can. It can.
Oh, that's right.
We'll see.
We'll see. Apparently, there's this thing called war. How do you plan that in your investment portfolio that some oligarch or some dictator would just want to start accumulating land like we're accumulating Matic or ADA or something else like that? So there's a lot to talk about with that. That's for sure. And Wes will have some news on that, how it's affecting the charts, and I'll just have some general pissed off commentary about it. But we also have lots to talk about with DYOR, DBT, Rebel, and some other news on tokens close to us that had some interesting stuff happen to them. So if we have time, we'll get to Speakeasy, Wanderlust, HedgePay, and DGEM, and some others later on. Then, of course, either before or after that, we'll get to those famous TA segments from Wes, talking about what's driving the markets and crypto in the news, which, of course, is Bitcoin, Russia, Bitcoin, Ukraine, Bitcoin, Russia, Bitcoin, Putin. And they're like liquidity pairs, Bitcoin and Russia, Bitcoin and Ukraine, Bitcoin and Putin. and of course, technical analysis, taking questions from the audience, maybe a super chat. We'll get you a review of a topic or a project. And although in tonight's show, we'll weave into, and also throughout tonight's show, we'll weave into the conversation of various topics recently written about by DYOR senior researcher and writer Brian, specifically some interesting crypto scams that have happened, and some the general idea behind cloud mining and how it may make you a lot of money, but how you are also likely to get ripped off. I bet you didn't know that you could make money and get wrecked in cloud mining, but you can. And also, we've been talking about this for 4 weeks now. The DYOR Media Network is monetized, and proceeds from YouTube ads, viewer super chats, and sponsors will go towards supporting this channel, the DYOR token, DYOR project, and scholarships for the education of the DYOR project, if we can raise enough money and get to that point in our project. So use those super chats and get donated. All 2 of you that are listening right now, do it. And those of you that are watching this on the replay, come and watch us on our live shows. subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will get some... my dog is joining me here. You'll get some opportunity to donate as well. If you're watching on Telegram and have a comment, drop it in the chat. I may get voice questions going if I don't have that annoying audio feedback when I'm trying something new. And I got Wes and I in the split screen here, so that means I'm trying something new again. Seems to be working out. For the best experience, though, and best video experience, head over to YouTube and watch our show in smooth 1080p. Now my girlfriend's dancing over here and distracting me. And guess what? It worked. Drop some comments and super chats. We're also dropping the stream onto Twitch for all of you people that need to listen, but need to multitask on your mobile device at the same time. You can do that on Twitch without YouTube Premium. And of course, DYOR Media is supported. DYOR Media, I didn't write this one right, I'm just going to say it. DYOR Media, the DYOR token, part of the DYOR project. And we depend on the funding and the tokens trading activity for the funding to continue to bring you this good content. Please, if you are not already a DYOR holder, head over to PancakeSwap and get investing. We also have a swapper if you're in our TG. Ask for it, and you can invest directly in it. So once again, I am striking. I say it like it is, and I love to play a good intro video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I love a good formal intro like that. Works well, gets everyone spiced up and ready for the show. And I just made that up. But anyway, once again, I'm trying another virtual set. And we got Wes on here on one side, and got myself striking on the other side. And we're going to get right into first a little DYOR news that Jason went over earlier in the show before us. But we want to go over, we have a pretty active AMA schedule coming up, everybody. And we want to mention that tomorrow with Rebel Traders, tomorrow meaning the 23rd of February, at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's GMT minus 5, so it'll be 10 o'clock GMT or UTC time. Over in the Rebel Traders Telegram forum, we will have a DYOR AMA. And that's good. The Rebel Traders project has been very helpful to DYOR in our transition from version 2 to version 3, specifically Matt with Rebel, helping us out with our swapper and our contract. And of course, Ray and the entire crew out there supporting us also. But Rebel Traders has grown a lot recently. Their community wallet is busting at the seams, and they have a lot of new people over there that don't really know about us, so we want to get the word out to them. Another AMA coming up. We've got one Friday the 25th. Is that even the right day? Friday the 25th. Yes, Friday the 25th. And I didn't write down who it was with. Anyway, we'll have more information published about that, and I'll update it in a description of the body of the video for this too. And also on March 2nd, we're having a AMA along with DBT. Having an AMA in what is known as the Space Lounge. And the Space Lounge is also a project that I am helping out with their video and virtual sets with. And Space Lounge is a group that just does AMAs and promotes projects. And instead of a nice education-based forum like I have here, we put together a nice space-based forum because everyone wants to go to the moon. But on March 2nd, the Space Lounge is having their grand opening kind of party with a bunch of AMAs, giveaways and some other type of stuff. So the DYOR project has got a bunch of AMAs. That schedule is always kind of being added to, so pay attention to that. And also, of course, everyone loves a good giveaway and a promotion. And we've got another Twitter promotion starting today that Royce has put together. I believe he has already dropped in our main chat and on Twitter to give away another million DYOR or something like that. Royce, if you are listening and need to correct me, please do. I tend to write down this information a little incorrectly, but that will last a couple of days and will be. I think it's a Wes. Is it a Twitter retweet promo, where we keep retweeting and get as many more retweets as we can, or something like that?
Yeah, there's a few things. You have to tweet some friends. You have to like the page, retweet. You know, it's all outlined in the details.
All right, so that's what's going on. I have to say that one of the things that DYOR did a little proactively, which was very good, is in this declining market. We had a lot of our tokenomics converted into BNB with our swap liquefy function. Hard one to say. And we Jason, our CEO, proactively converted half of that into BUSD, or a USD equivalent, before the market tanked, to take advantage of the flight to safety, as they say, in the US dollar, as Bitcoin tanked and brought BNB down with it. And so as the market starts to turn around, we'll convert that to BNB and get a few free BNBs into our operating and marketing wallets out of that. So long as, Wes, you're going to tell us that the market's going to go up.
Oh, it's going to go up and down and up and down.
All we wanted to do is go up and make us a little money. I thought Carmen was going to be with us tonight. She will be. She's generally a regular on everything. She's got a new crypto chat podcast dropping tomorrow, Wednesday, and that'll be up on her YouTube channel. And we will also bring you the links to that as soon as they are put out. Wes, do you happen to know who is interviewed for that one?
I do know, but I don't know if I can spill the beans. I don't think so. It's been formally announced yet, so I'm gonna keep that one close to the vest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a mysterious guest tomorrow on the podcast, but we're looking for it, and I hope they have their upgraded sound in use for that. Anyway, I do want to take this opportunity before we get into the guts of the market and the information that Wes is going to bring us to talk about the DYOR blog. And let me see if I can bring that back up here. The DYOR blog, as you can see behind me, it has a ton of articles on it. I know I'm blacking it and all this kind of stuff, but I guess I can make myself smaller. It has a ton of articles that Brian has written on it and has really done a great job. Let me see if I can just make this a little bit bigger. Oh, not going to do it. Anyway, and one of the things he puts out all the time is called a current events in cryptocurrency. And one of the articles he just recently posted, as you can see over my head here. If you're on your phone, you won't be able to read it at all. But if you're on a PC, you might be able to see this. It has to do with some of the more massive scams. As you know, I talk about people getting rugged, ruined, and wrecked all the time in the crypto sphere. And I talk about some of the larger ones, but I use them mostly as an example of how to not get rugged, ruined, or wrecked again in your life. But Brian pointed out a couple of good ones and references one that you probably saw in the news a lot but may not understand. So I thought I'd take a minute just to go through the high-level ideas of what Brian's writing about and really give you just enough information and tell you, go to our blog, dyorpro.blog, or you can go to our website, dyorpro.com, and click the blog link. And read this article in which Brian talks about the Bitfinex. Is it Bitfinex? Bitfinex? How would you pronounce it, Wes?
Yeah, Bitfinex. Yep.
Bitfinex hack that happened now 6 years ago, in which 100,000 Bitcoin were stolen. At the time, it was worth a couple of $1 million, but now with the price of Bitcoin, it's many billions of dollars. And the couple that I don't know if they stole it, but the couple that was trying to launder the money and bring it out into the real world got caught doing it. As we all know, the blockchain is a very public thing, and Brian goes into the detail behind how that happened, and the not the hack or the scam of how the exchange got it, but in talking about how law is catching up with blockchain enforcement, and how even the government, one side of the government and Congress, the people are saying, "Oh my gosh, this money's untraceable. We've got to regulate cryptocurrency." But then law enforcement is coming right out and saying, "Hey, we're good at enforcing this and tracking the money down, and we're pretty much getting all the people committing the major scams now." So I encourage everyone to go over and read that, the DYOR pro.com, click the blog link, and you can learn a lot about the guy and his girlfriend, the rapper, the rap star. And I got to tell you, Wes, I watched some of her videos, and they were really. I think they were really parody.
Oh.
They had to have been parody. They couldn't have been real.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, if you were to set out to make fun of someone, those were the videos you would make. But
yeah, exactly.
But anyway, the couple got busted, and they're going to go to the joint for a long time for doing this, because the government is not happy with money laundering at all, and they never have, and they continue to enforce it. And so, regardless of this girl Morgan going to court, wearing a hoodie, staring at her parents, and trying to look all innocent and all that, apparently the government's going to treat her like a hardened criminal. If you can see these pictures here, these are pictures out on Instagram and stuff like that of them posing around the world, pretending they have tons of money, but now it's going to be prison bars for them. And later, Brian does an article about the cloud mining that is really a timeless article, and so if we get to it, we will tonight. But right now, I want to take the time to get to the important stuff, which everyone's pretty much talking about this week, and that's the market. And Wes, I don't even know. I'm essentially speechless, which is rare for me, in talking about how just as we think we're getting out of the weeds, even with our own project, but with BNB, it starts recovering, everything's great, and then some random Russian dictator says, "I'm going to tank the market intentionally by taking some land from my neighbor country, and the market's going to freak out." But I believe you're going to give us some wisdom about invasions and actually the long-term effects of that. So, Wes, what do you got for us tonight?
Sure. Just to start, just to touch on what you're speaking about, the Bitfinex hat and the hack and the girl, where did that Bitcoin go? Did they give it back to Bitfinex? No, our government kept it, and it's on their books now.
I don't know how they could do that. How can they just keep it when it's... I don't get it.
Yep. Yeah. The Wild West.
The Wild West, yes.
Yep. So yeah, let's get into this. I'm going to cover a few news stories that kind of point us in the bullish and bearish directions. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in cryptocurrency. I am testing a new mic tonight, so hopefully I sound all right. And I also have some fancy new software for going through the news articles. So first, let me adjust my camera here. All right, let's take a look. So it's not really the elephant in the room anymore, but as everybody knows, the Russia-Ukraine tensions, with Russia officially invading Ukraine over the last 48 hours. The analysts attribute this drop to the tensions in the crisis. Obviously, that's a huge part of why not only cryptocurrency but the stock markets are taking a dip right now. Bitcoin's often touted as by its proponents as a safe haven. It's kind of like when you take your money out of stocks and risk assets and you put it in gold or a more safe asset. typically, the Bitcoiners, the cryptocurrency people want that's what they want Bitcoin to be. That hedge against inflation and that hedge against these wars in the world, these geopolitical events. But unfortunately, as more and more institutions begin to trade it, it becomes less of a hedge and more of a tech stock in itself. So now it's highly correlated to the NASDAQ, highly correlated to the Dow, and it just happens when crypto becomes more and more accepted in the real world. One thing I found that was really interesting in this CNBC article talking about the Russian-Ukrainian tensions is the co-founder of the crypto exchange Huobi, which is one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world. It's a Korean exchange. He doesn't think the next bull market will occur until 2024, which is the next Bitcoin halving event. And that's something we'll have to cover with DYOR is what are the halving events of Bitcoin, and why do these halving events every couple of years affect the price of Bitcoin so much? The next halving event is not until end of 2024, 2025. It depends, the amount of time it takes for them to reach those blocks. But that is interesting to think about. The founder of the Huobi exchange doesn't think there's going to be a bull market until 2024 into 2025. So, Tom, I forgot to grab that graphic. Give me one.
Which one was that?
Here. The graphic. So one thing that is kind of interesting about the these geopolitical events when wars break out, invasions happen, it tends to seem like it's a bearish time. People tend to take their money out of risky assets. They tend to hold on to their cash, and they're fearful of what's going to happen in the world. But it's very obvious. One thing that tends to happen when these invasions and these geopolitical events happen, there's always a big dip, and then immediately after the dip, there's a huge run-up. It happened with the Vietnam War and the stock market, the Gulf War, even the Afghanistan War. There was a nice pump after. Obviously, eventually it came back down. Same with the Iraq War, the Crimean Crisis, which is fairly recent in 2014. The stock markets took a dip, and then right after the invasion, everything started to run again. So it is something to keep in mind. It's not entirely a bearish scenario, just for the time being. And then as people move their money into cash, they're going to say, "Hey, where do I need to put this cash?" And they're going to put it into commodities like gold and Bitcoin and oil, and we're gonna see these markets pump again. So. That's kind of the big elephant in the room. That's this Russian Ukrainian crisis now. I'm sorry,
Les,
what was that, Tom?
Are you telling me that in all the invasions that you've got there on that graphic on your screen, the crash in the market has been temporary, and then almost immediately for at least the next year after it's been a bull market?
Exactly. Yep. So... And notice these time spans. I mean, we're talking a few months. So,
right.
If the invasion was January 1991, by July, the market was pumping again, and it was back up there. So, it may be a bear market for now, but over the next 6 to 8 months, we may see things turn around. It's just one indicator. There's nothing that can tell the future. Anything could happen, but this is kind of the trend when these types of things happened in the past.
Right.
So to move on to another thing that I personally think has quite an impact on cryptocurrency as a whole. I think this is contributing to this bear market, this downward action, this downward price action, are the recent issues with OpenSea. And we've had this major influx of NFTs, and it's the next thing, and everybody loves these JPEGs and the NFT gaming, and when there's so much money in these NFTs, these tokens, they're basically running on smart contracts, and there are flaws in those smart contracts, and people will find ways to take advantage of them. So recently, there have been two different events with OpenSea, which is the worldwide leader in the NFT marketplace. They are by far the biggest marketplace. They have the most value locked. They have the biggest volume. And just recently, over the last month, there have been several incidents involving NFTs listed, bought, and sold on their exchange. And this one's kind of the scariest for me. The hacker that exploited the OpenSea bugs that basically allowed him to buy NFTs at their floor price or at their list price. These scammers appear to be taking advantage of an OpenSea bug in order to purchase valuable NFTs at a considerably cheaper price than their current listing. So say you have an NFT listed at 300 ETH, and these hackers were able to go in there, work this contract flaw, and buy it for pennies on the dollar. It was a fault in the front end of of OpenSea. So basically, these hackers sent out these emails, these phishing emails, which is an entirely different type of scam, with a fake link to a website that looked exactly like OpenSea, and they were targeting all these OpenSea users. And once this link was clicked on, it would open your wallet, and it would just be an innocent transaction. It's not asking to buy and sell your tokens. It's not asking you to do like any transactions. It's not asking you to approve anything. It's basically asking you to sign. And what this flaw does, is it allows the hacker to take that signature and create other transaction and sign your signature on those transactions. So you end up with these unfortunate people like tballer.eth here. He owned one of the most rare ape yacht clubs, which is going for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it sold for 0.77 ETH.
Ouch.
The hacker, the hacker immediately flipped it for 85 ETH, or roughly $200,000. So that just goes to show you it's such a risky thing. It's such a new thing. These NFTs, these flaws are out there. Shortly after that happened, the hacker was able to flip a couple more NFTs to the tune of $750,000. This crypto alert company, Peck Shield Alert security firm, their bots on Twitter alerted of a front end flaw. So that just let all the hackers know that there's this huge flaw. 3 additional attackers purchased NFTs worth slightly more than $1 million. One attacker paid a total of $130,000 for 7 NFTs, these Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and these crypto pumps. And then they quickly flipped them for $1 million. Some people think that this is an inside job at OpenSea, because there have been multiple exploits like this. This was reported to OpenSea back in December. Here you can see this user on Twitter. It allowed assets to be purchased at a greatly discounted price, including 3 fresh drop passes, a Bored Ape Yacht Club, multiple Mutant Ape yacht clubs, and OpenSea did absolutely nothing about it. They didn't halt trading. They didn't say, "Hey guys, there's something wrong. You might want to, remove the link in your wallet to OpenSea." They did nothing. They let trading resume, and they didn't address the issue when it was reported. And after all this, OpenSea comes out, and they have the gall to say, it's worth noting this problem is a result. It's an intended design in the OpenSea contract. It's a centralized service, and basically, it's not a hack or a bug. It's how the software was written. So
we wanted you to get hacked.
They're basically blaming the users. So, when they come out talking like that, you get the people. Overall, let me take a step back. Overall, there was over $1.7 million in NFTs stolen and flipped. This goes into the technical aspects and how it happened. It exploited a flexibility in the Wyvern protocol. It's the open source standard that most NFT contracts run on, especially those made on OpenSea. First, they target the potential partial contract. They get you to click on that link and you sign that partial contract. And then once the signature's in place, they grab the signature and then they call their own contract with your signature. which was from that partial contract, and then that in essence, it's giving them a blank check. They can say, "Hey, I have your signature. I'm going to sell your ETH, your Bored Ape Yacht Club for a half an ETH, and then I'm going to sell it for 100 ETH."
Thank you for that.
So many details of this attack remain unclear. How did and this is why a lot of people think it's an inside job. How did the hackers have the emails of the OpenSea users, and how did they get them to click on these links?
Yeah, sounds kind of suspicious to me.
Yep. There's a common vector of attack there. They were able to link the email addresses to the wallets and then get them to click on these links. So it looked exactly like it was from OpenSea, and they got them. They tricked them.
Oh my god.
So when these types of things happen, people go straight to their lawyer. And OpenSea, since they are a centralized organization, it's not DeFi, it's not decentralized. There are people. It's a company that is run by people. They're facing a lawsuit for over $1 million. Timothy McKinney, he lost a Bored Ape Yacht Club that sold for $26, and the hackers turned around and sold it for 99 ETH, which is $250,000.
Boom.
So can you imagine that? You're holding on to this NFT. It's life-changing money. It's just sitting in your wallet, and because of these contract flaws at OpenSea, they're able to sell it for you for $26 and sell it for.
I think the real crime with that, though, Wes, it isn't the theft. I mean, that's pretty bad as it is, a dishonest person doing criminal activities. The real crime is that someone else paid $250,000 for something I just screenshotted for free. That's
exactly. And that's the crazy part. That to be able to sell it, they're selling it for less than what it's worth. It's not like an order book where there's all these orders. You have to have a buyer for that NFT.
Right.
Someone has to be willing to pay that. So for them to sell for 99 ETH, it's probably worth more like 150 to 200 ETH. And they just wanted to get that quick 250 grand and get out of there.
I'd like to get a quick 250 grand.
OpenSea knew about the bug. They refused to halt trading. Instead of shutting down their platform, they continued to allow trading to happen. They're using these tweets on Twitter as evidence, saying, "Hey, these bugs and these flaws in the contract have been known since early December. Why didn't you stop trading or let anyone know?" And it's just OpenSea. It has been shady in general. It's known that they conduct insider trading. They've admitted it, and they've been caught. Basically, what they would do is they would front run NFTs. So NFTs would get minted. They would buy them first, and then they would list them at the top of their website. And it's the first thing you see when they go to their website. They would say, "Hey, it just sold for 20 ETH. I'm going to buy it for 15 ETH, or I'm going to buy it for 10 ETH." And you think you're getting a good deal, but they're really just front running the transactions and setting up a fake transaction history. And they got caught of doing that. So I would not put this past them of this being an inside job. And I think this is a bigger deal than people realize. I think this is another reason why we're seeing such a downturn in the market. These
everyone
NFTs
knows
have been such a big thing.
Sorry to interrupt you.
So much money. Yeah, you're fine.
No, it's just the slight delay is ruining my ability to get that quick comment in. But everybody that's listened to the show before knows my displeasure with NFTs, and this is exactly why. There's two reasons why I've always cast doom onto NFTs. One is the easy fraud ability, just as Wes has explained over the past 10 minutes here. And two is the other concept of as I say, the provenance of ownership, in which most people think that the blockchain is the ultimate arbiter of who owns the NFT, but it's not. The blockchain itself does say who owns it, but the blockchain is not the jurisdiction of law wherever you are. The jurisdiction in which you're in has laws on how things are owned and who has the right to sell things. And just because you own it doesn't mean you have the right to sell it, because you may have acquired it illegally and you may be holding stolen property, whether you know it or not. So somebody bought that $250,000 NFT. And people are like, well, the blockchain says he owns it, so he owns it. No, but it's likely a court will say that is stolen property, and they will have to return it for free and lose their $250,000. So it's still a scam pool right now because it's new. These smart, as you said, Wes, these smart contracts are smart contracts written by humans that they're new. They haven't been vetted over 10 years or 20 years of this. They're new, and they get hacked all the time so far. And the law hasn't, the NFT law hasn't caught up with the laws of the jurisdictions where people are. And so there's going to be all sorts of continuing problems with them. And I talk about it all the time, and people argue with me. And then stuff like this happens, and I say, I'm right. That's where I had to interject.
That's a great segue into our next topic here. It's actually your neck of the woods. The Canadian RCMP, which is basically that's their police force, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
It's the national police force, like the FBI. They're like the FBI, but they also have patrol units. Also, since the country is so vast, and there's a lot of not ungoverned areas, but areas that are not incorporated into towns, villages, or counties, and so the federal government polices those. So they're like the FBI from an investigative point of view and enforcement, but they also have a patrol aspect for certain areas of the country.
Gotcha. So basically, they've issued an order of all FinTrack regulated companies in the country, demanding them to cease transactions with Bitcoin addresses. So this is one of your first attempts of a country trying to effectively ban Bitcoin, or at least ban certain people from a cryptocurrency. And what they're really targeting is this freedom convoy that was in Ottawa, Canada. And basically, they're going after the Bitcoin donations. Any Bitcoin donations received by truckers protesting in Ottawa, Canada's political center. So they're trying to stop that flow of money. People are donating to this freedom convoy in Bitcoin, and the Canadian government wants to stop that money. So Prime Minister Trudeau, he deemed that illegal. He said, no, you're not allowed to donate to these truckers. And he invoked this Rare Emergency Measures Act. He says, you can't fund them with your Bitcoin. And they found a list of 29 Bitcoin addresses that have transacted up to $1 million worth of BTC to the Freedom Convoy. And they said, hey, you're not allowed to do this. This is illegal. We're coming after you. And this is where it really starts to test the limits of cryptocurrency, because this is an order that, they're giving an order, basically, de facto law, saying, although it doesn't prevent it doesn't allow, the law can't stop Bitcoin, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't stop peer-to-peer Bitcoin transactions from occurring. It makes it harder for them to convert it back to fiat, to convert it to, Canadian dollar, US dollar. They don't have these off-ramps, and that's how they try to target you. But they can't stop you from trading your Bitcoin. They can't say, "Oh, this Bitcoin wallet can't trade," or we know exactly whose Bitcoin wallet this is.
Right, but to be fair, from the person who had to sit through these protests for 22 days, one of the things that this group was very good at was organization. And as I explained to the youngsters in the group here that have played Fallout 4 or 3, and understand how you make communities and set up trade between and create an ecosphere and supply and that. They did the same thing here. They had the protest downtown, but they set up camps all over the city in which the protesters hung out at. But really, that was the supply group, and they also did that with their finances. And so while on the ground people were supplying fuel and food, in the background people were supplying money via the regular banks, GoFundMe, another fundraising website, and also via crypto. And like I have said 10 minutes or 20 minutes ago, and a number of times on this show, crypto is not dark money that's untraceable when it goes through an exchange. And so they quickly figured out which of these people were putting money through exchanges to go to the organizers' wallets. And it quickly went from 3 people to 10 people, and then all of a sudden, I think which articles say they found 29 people doing it.
Yep.
But it very easily could have been
Exactly.
1,000 people. You know, the news in the U.S. was, they're taking grandma's money, sending money to her son, but grandma's not buying Bitcoin, and two, they weren't concerned about, people sending $5 or $10 to buy food for people. What they were concerned about is the general things that once something like this protest went through the court system, it was declared to be illegal occupation of the city. Literally, there's a 10-acre lawn 2 feet from where the trucks were that they could have all gone and protested on, like happens every weekend in Ottawa. They didn't do that. They blocked the city. The court declared it illegal, and once that happened, the government was allowed to freeze their assets. Not seize them. There's a difference. Seize them means the government takes them. Freeze them means just says you can't transact with them, and that's what they did. But they did it very easily because since the blockchain is so transparent, they were able to put the brakes on that right away, and it absolutely affected the ability to fund the protest, which, from my perspective on the ground here, it was very good. I enjoyed them starving to death and needing to leave. On the other hand, it was interesting to learn how fast they could put the brakes on cryptocurrency transactions that go through exchanges. And
that really is that really is my next point. Is these are really decentralized assets. And here's kind of a funny meme here: the government banning Bitcoin. They might be able to ban that little on ramp, but you can easily find other ways. It should be stressed that decentralized currencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum cannot be frozen within the network. It's only those fiat on ramps. It's only your bank account, which can seem scary when you're stuck in the mindset of fiat, but that's what makes cryptocurrency great. Centralized entities like crypto exchanges and payment processors are the ones that freeze the funds. I thought this was it's definitely kind of scary when the Ontario Superior Court judge orders financial institutions to freeze any assets tied to including digital assets. They can't do that though. They cannot freeze digital assets. So I don't know if it's a lack of understanding of the government's not knowing how cryptocurrency works, or if it's just them trying to intimidate and scare people. But this was my favorite part of the whole thing. So being a cryptocurrency is a decentralized asset. Obviously, they're centralized exchanges, and that's where they get you. That's where you turn your money into fiat and your fiat into crypto. But there are decentralized exchanges. They're DEXs, kind of like PancakeSwap. So there's actually one decentralized exchange called Nunchuck.io. And the Ontario Superior Court of Justice sent them an injunction saying they had to freeze and disclose their users. They have to tell them who's transacting on their network. And look at their response. This is the best thing I've seen. I just want to read the end of this here to you. So it's a self-custodial wallet. So this would be like the government saying, "Hey, Trust Wallet, you have to freeze all the crypto assets," but they can't. It's a self-custodial wallet. It's your keys and your crypto. And in the exchange, on a centralized exchange, it's not your keys, not your crypto. So that's the importance of having a wallet, a self-custodial wallet. So they responded to the Ontario injunction saying, we don't collect any user identification. We cannot freeze our users' assets. We cannot prevent them from being moved. Please look up how self-custody and private keys work. When the Canadian dollar becomes worthless, we'll be here to serve you too. That is so great. That is my favorite thing I've read.
It's
when
so
the
true.
Canadian dollar becomes worthless, we'll be here to serve you too.
It's really ironic.
Ontario Superior Court of Justice.
It's really ironic, Wes, is that the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, his stepbrother or half-brother, I don't know which it is, actually started a wallet company, and it's a RFID, or I'm sorry, not an RFID card, but a card with a chip in it, NFC card, that holds your crypto in it, and it's a wallet that literally the Prime Minister of Canada and the top levels of government all know about. Yet percolating throughout the rest of the government. Nobody does it. It's called Swiss Key. Not that I'm promoting it or anything, but it's
Sure.
it's a card that you can get and tap and pay in crypto and things like that. But it's so there's such a divergence in education amongst these knuckleheads we call politicians. And I've covered this in my rugged, ruined, and wrecked segments about the U.S. and, as I call them, old white guys making laws segments. And they don't understand technology. And here we have the government, which the Prime Minister of Canada, his own family, has a non-custodial wallet. And then the government underneath him has no idea about what they're talking about. They're like, well, you better just freeze all that stuff. They're like, it's impossible.
Send us all your users. Yeah.
Right.
They're stuck in Web 1 and Web 2 days. They think they understand how it works, but this is truly decentralized, you know. It's your keys, your crypto. They can't freeze you. It's your stuff. So it's a beautiful thing. That's really all I have as far as the news. I mean, I really don't have much to cover with the technical analysis. I do want to take a look at a couple coins because some of them are at a really interesting level. To start, we'll go over the Bitcoin chart that we've been looking at all February. You know, early in February, we were down in the dumps like we are right now. We had a nice little pump, and I wondered if we were going to come back and retest 40K. It didn't retest for 3 weeks, and it finally retested. Will it bounce? And, well, yeah, for the last 2 weeks, you can see it didn't bounce. It did not bounce.
Nope.
So what's nice is we came exactly back down to our previous level of support. So right now we're hanging out right between 36 and 37,000. And we're just going sideways again. You know, I have a feeling we're going to be here for a couple days. Just hanging out, just like we were back
That's
here.
fine. That's fine.
Yep. Man, there have been some great deals today over the last couple days. One thing that really shook me up is how low Cardano got. So if you take a look at Cardano, they got all the way down to 81 cents. If we look at the daily chart on Cardano, it has not been 81 cents since mid-February of last year. So it's at the lowest point it's been in the last year. If now's not a time to buy, there never will be. And so yeah, that's one price that really caught me off guard. Was Cardano under $1. It really held that dollar support for so long, you know, all the way back here through March of last year, April 5th, the bull market hit, got up to $3, $3.10, came back down, held that dollar, and it finally broke through. I've personally been accumulating a bit more Cardano at these levels, try to lower that DCA price, but another one that did the same type of thing is Algorand. You know, it's the lowest it's been. Algorand? Algo?
Oh, Algo. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yep. That's another one it's been on a nice run for several months, but it came down to the 80-cent level, and for the first time since last July when we had the crash of Bitcoin down to 28K. Yeah, I mean, these prices are just crazy. It's been nice, honestly. Solana's another one. It came all the way down to let's see, came down to $80. The last time it was $80 was last August. So
ouch. Ouch.
6 months. Yeah, it's at the lowest price it's been in 6 months. You know, and it's the same thing across the board. This is another scary chart to look at right now, the total market cap. You know, it's nice and comfy when we're up over 2 trillion. That's kind of my gauge for the total market cap. When we fall below 2 trillion, things start getting wonky. Right now we're sitting at a measly 1.6 trillion. Yeah, we need to get back above that 2 trillion mark. There's one other thing I wanted to take a look at. It just completely left my mind. Well, if it comes back to me, I'll let you know. Yeah,
well, what about XRP? Were you talking about dominance? You mentioned that the other day. That dominance? How about divergence?
Okay. It is actually dominance. So this is really interesting. And it's less with the dominance chart. It's more the price of Bitcoin. So as I'm going through these altcoins, Cardano, Algorand, Solana, they're the lowest they've been in a year, the lowest they've been in 6 months. And a lot of these coins are like that. They haven't been this low in 6+ months. The weird thing is Bitcoin hasn't been this low in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So that really shows you the Bitcoin dominance is going up. Bitcoin was lower than it was down to $33,000 on January 24th. But on January 24th, we still had Cardano at $1.15. So it's definitely something really, really strange happening in the market. The altcoins are really being sucked dry of their liquidity while Bitcoin, I'm sure this chart's going straight up. Yep. So that's one thing that's got me a little worried for this bear market is, Bitcoin is falling, but the altcoins are bleeding way harder. They're falling way faster than Bitcoin is right now.
That was something I noticed a while ago, or not that long ago, but recently. And when Cardano was last at 80 cents or something like that, what was Bitcoin at? Is that the same price, or was it at a far different price?
It's a good question. Let's take a look. So that was February 14th. Let's see, February 14th. Bitcoin was, oh man, that was right as it was running up. It was right under 50K. It was between like 48 and 50K.
And that's when Cardano was also 80 cents.
Exactly. Yep. So it's when things get below that $2 trillion mark, it gets wonky. Altcoins go up, Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go up. The Bitcoin dominance really comes into play. So now that the Bitcoin dominance is going way up, it's really recovering. We were stuck in that downtrend, and now we're going back up. And that's why altcoins are bleeding out. And man, I'd love to see us get back closer to that $2 trillion total market cap.
Yep.
Wow, that's a scary one too. Total 2, which is a total market cap minus Bitcoin. That's now under $1 trillion. That includes Ethereum. So all cryptocurrencies, including DYOR, DBT, and Ethereum, their market cap is a total of $900 billion. It's less than $1 trillion. At the height of the bull market, it was almost $2 trillion. It's at $1.7 trillion. So that just says the trend that we're in right now. We just need to break it.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yep.
And like I was saying earlier, it's that it's hard from a investor's point of view that's not a big retail house or a big group of some sort to really get a handle on this. When it was pointed out to me a while ago that, and I told you this earlier, Wes, that the whole market cap of cryptocurrency is essentially the same value as just the value of real estate in Manhattan, New York. Not Queens, not Yonkers, Staten Island, Brooklyn, or the Bronx. Just Manhattan. And that makes you think of all of a sudden the real estate of the rest of the world and how small Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is compared to all of that. Yet nobody complains about the value of real estate in New York declining, and across the world people are selling their car and their dog and their kids and stuff like that. But Bitcoin goes down, which is a much smaller influence in the world in value. Its dominance in the news and in people's minds is 10,000 times the effect of the real estate in New York, even though it's the same value. And it drives me mad to no end. That because normally
the the company Apple has a market cap of 2.6 trillion. That's more
Right.
than the total market cap of all cryptos combined.
Right.
It's insane.
It's like all of us are just Apple day traders. That's all we are. And
Yep.
but when the Apple gets some news, it's a little thing in the financial papers, or it's it's a story about their supply chain and the effect on their stock, and their stock goes up and down a little bit. Their stock doesn't go down by half in 2 months. Like Apple stock didn't go down because Putin invaded Ukraine. Maybe it went down a little bit as the market declines and indices and hedging pulls it down a little bit, but it doesn't go down by half. So that I think that my complaining and moaning is just something telling me that we actually really need a lot more liquidity in these markets. We need these markets to be 10 trillion, $20 trillion markets before we can really count on them being steady, and really something that actually follows the sentiment of the market, not of the few that can just dump a ton at once and sell and buy back cheap to get more.
And that volatility is what makes money in the market right now. But yeah, it's very obvious when it's being manipulated. That's for sure.
Yeah, even the Apple still, it's fine. What's the time frame on that chart?
This is the daily. So this is going back to last October, November. They've been in an uptrend. They haven't broken that uptrend. They're still in an uptrend. So it's it's definitely amazing. The total market cap's 1.6 trillion for crypto, and they're what did I say? 2.6. That's a lot. That's a big difference.
How about what's Amazon at as compared to Apple and crypto? Probably exactly the same, I'm guessing.
Let's see. It's about 1.5 trillion. So it's about the same. Yeah, it's about the same as crypto right now. Crypto is a little more than Amazon.
I remember when Amazon cracked the $1 trillion market cap and the stock price was flying because of it. And I think I was talking to my mom and dad about it, who were watching CNBC or something like that. And they said, wow, that's really expensive for that stock, and it's at $1 trillion market cap. And I said, do you really think 1 trillion will be their all-time high? And it's going to go down. It's just, that's it. No more. They're done. And obviously, Sears and Kmart and all their, big catalog people and that kind of stuff, found their high level. But at that day, I was like, Dad, is today the all-time high? And he's like, not. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 trillion. Just like Apple, they were at 1 trillion. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, they're $1 trillion." Apple's bigger than most countries, and then they're at 2 trillion, and then 2.5 trillion. So hopefully, crypto will soon be 5 trillion, 10 trillion.
Yep.
As the market, all the market needs to do is recover a little, and the market cap will be 4 trillion. Just a little. Please help us out. Feed us a little green stuff in our pockets here.
And then it just seems like when you look at let me pull up the log. When you look at the weekly, I mean, it's just been straight up. So it does, it does feel like we're in such a dark bear market, but we're just this little tiny downtrend right here. I have a feeling this is going to continue to do these swoops. Same with Bitcoin and same with altcoins. Some projects will die, some projects won't make it in these bear markets, but overall, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the big boys, the total market cap, that's going to continue to go up.
Ugh, please, Bitcoin, please, for the love of God.
Yep.
All right, so in essence, since with Bitcoin, it's on the, not the daily, but the 1 or 2 hour chart today. Since we woke up to this morning of the news of dictator Putin saying, "Give me your country," the market is somewhat recovered. It's already it took the dump in the middle of the night in that dreaded 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time zone, and then it's recovered a lot and seems to be holding itself and not having fake dump outs.
Yep. So that blue line is when the stock market opened at 9. I was really watching that. I was watching to see what the Nasdaq was going to do. I was expecting a big dump. I opened I like to do these $10 shorts and $10 longs, make a couple bucks. But yeah, it just kind of went sideways and up. I mean, it's not bad. I opened some pretty ridiculous buy orders. I was trying to get Solana or Cardano at like 75 cents and some Atom at like $20, but unfortunately none of them hit. The stock market opened, the Nasdaq held solid, and so did Bitcoin and crypto. So we even have some green over here. Luna's up, AVAX is up, but it really depends. It sounds like Ukraine's being invaded right now, and we'll see what happens over the next 6 months. But yeah, that's all I really have.
Well, all right. The news segment of that is always interesting on seeing what's affecting the market. It's just as we sit here all the time and go through the different scenarios of what controls the market, the different institutional firms, the different investors that help manipulate the market, and the various news cycles that do. And then you see, this whole business of war with Ukraine and everything that you've either planned on, thought about, or tried to, work into your investment plan just goes right out the window. Just like, no, whatever you're talking about, we're gonna throw in the tank here. And no doubt, there's no doubt in my mind that the insiders in the Russian government are buying the blankety bleep right now out of Bitcoin and the other major cryptocurrencies, because they know as soon as they make an announcement like, all is good, we're fine now. See, our troops are going home, and we're gonna lower the price of gas going into Germany. The price of Bitcoin will instantly rocket up, and the markets will forget about the whole thing ever happened. And you and I and a bunch of other people will have not made any money, except maybe a few dollars we made getting a few more Cardanos. But the people manipulating the markets will make billions. And that's how it works. Because why is that, Wes? Because we are the chumbalones getting it handed to us in the shorts. And but I realize I don't have a giant military behind me, and I'm not a dictator, so I get it. When you have a big military with nuclear weapons and lots of tanks, you can do these things. And all we have is a YouTube channel.
Yep. There really is a luck factor. You got to catch it at the right time for sure. You can ride the waves. You can definitely make a little money.
Yep.
Especially when we get back to the bear market. The bull market. Excuse me. Jinx.
We're so used to hearing the bear market. Like, yeah. Right. Well, we do have Bitcoin up over $38,000 now from, I think its low today was 36.9 or something. BNB's back up at 375, which is good. Just a few days ago, was it 420, 430, something like that? Can't remember exactly, but it seems like a lifetime ago. But
and I hate to say it, but I called it. It hit the top of the pattern and it bounced.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about it trading in those bands.
Yeah,
and it did.
Now it's coming back down.
I should have sold everything. Hopefully, people be like, Tom, why'd you sell everything? Because Wes said so.
Yeah, the chart told me to. Hopefully we keep this level of support here. We've touched it here, we touched it here, we touched it here, we touched it here. Well, it had a nice bounce off it right there. So hopefully BNB can hold this and we'll get back above $400. What's this right here? Maybe like between like 410, 420. That'd be nice. 420 blaze it.
All right, Elon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much the show we have for you tonight. It's late on a Tuesday, and wanted to get back out in front of you on a regular time and talk about the markets that were going crazy, bring you some information about our projects, and that's what we did. For those of you that commented on YouTube and Facebook, and the ones I didn't get to, thank you very much. Like I said before, we have some AMA schedules coming up here for DYOR. Like I said, tomorrow or today, depending on where you are right now, on the 23rd at 5 p.m. Eastern, at 10 p.m. UTC, the DYOR team is participating in AMA with Rebel Traders. On Friday the 25th, we have another AMA during the day. I don't have the final information for that, so pay attention to get more information on that. Crypto Chit Chat by Carmen is being released tomorrow, which is Wednesday. A new podcast. You'll want to tune into that for some good information about people that you all know and love. And also on March 2nd is the global coming out party for another project I'm involved in called Space Lounge. Just an AMA group and a news group. And we are going to be doing AMAs for DYOR, DBT, HedgePay, and a couple other ones. Something else. Another one. I think another one tomorrow called Bud Buy, but not going to talk about that now. So March 2nd will be a big day for our group of projects here, getting the word out, and we're going to have a nice big party about it. We might have a little disco music that day, too. So hopefully that's good. Wes, got any last things here before we sign off?
No, I did see Jeff J in the comments saying, what do you guys think about HBAR's future? HBAR
go
is a
for
good
it.
Project.
Snuck in there at the end.
Hashcraft. I do know that they're pretty centralized. I really don't know much about them. I know that they're on, it's a layer one, but it's kind of a private chain. It's not really open source like crypto should be. But you can see I did follow it for quite a bit. I was trading it a little bit. And when you have a good solid company, I say that when you have a good solid company, that means it's centralized, but it does seem like it's a solid project, and it really depends on Bitcoin. It seems like it's following the same downward trend as everything else. So hopefully it's one of the lasters. Hopefully it sticks around. But yeah, that's a Hedera Hashcraft HBAR.
Yeah, I bought a little bit of that a while ago, and I bought it at I'm going to make up numbers, but at 32, and I had to sell it at 17 or something. I was like, ah.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough out there.
And of course I bought it on FOMO. Someone else is like, man, I just 2x'd on HBAR and it's got a good blockchain, this. I'm like, all right, I'll put a BNB in it. Sold it for half BNB. It's like, arg.
Yep.
And I think what I sold it for also lost money, so I turned that BNB into a quarter BNB. It's just one of those really good plays that you're so proud of.
Yeah. See, I'm. It's kind of funny. This story actually, or this chart actually tells a story. This is the KuCoin Hedera Hashgraph chart, and it launched on KuCoin in September 14th. I bought at this red line because I saw it run up because of the launch on KuCoin. I then spent the next 2.5 months down on it. So as soon as it poked its head up above my break even, I ended up selling it. So I no longer own any Hashgraph, but I did not take a loss on it. So I'm happy with that.
Good for you. I hate you.
Yeah. And you can see when I owned it, I was charting it out every day. I said this green is when I'm going to buy some more to lower my DCA. Yellow is this line of resistance. I was charting these wedges, and eventually the wedges broke out, and I was able to make $5 on it. Not much.
Oh, well, everybody, thank you for the good show. As always, we do these things to get the information out and to feed the great YouTube machine, an algorithm, whatever it is, on our YouTube channel, DYOR Media Network. Encourage all of you to click the like button and share it. If you click the share button and copy the URL, the great YouTube algorithm believes that you've actually shared it with someone. So please do that and drop it somewhere in which your friends will get it. I would really appreciate that. That'll help us. That'll get the word out about DYOR and about Wes disappearing. And so
good timing.
if you,
my camera just died. That's good timing.
damn batteries. And so,
Yeah,
so anyway,
I ordered one of those adapters. I'm waiting on it.
Oh, good. So everyone, thank you very much. Really appreciate the time. We'll be back. We'll try to keep doing this on Tuesdays, but I have a feeling we're going to move around as we try and find a better night to get a better audience that's live. But thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.